Hi, it's Dr. Mohammed Usman, and I am back with another video on the topic of interacting big records in real time. Basically, how we can visualize and interact with the billion plus records database in real time. So the problem is that when you have a very greater amount of data and which have multiple rows and multiple columns about in billions and millions or trillion type of data, basically big data. So how you can interact with that data and how you can visualize with that data. So the basic technique is very simple when we are interacting with the data. So first of all, we have already read that we can filter out the data. So the first part is that you take out the sample of the data, and while taking the sample of the data, you make sure that you are getting the right sample, and the sample is consisting of all the available data according to your data tables and data columns, and it can depict the overall value or the worth of your whole data available. So the second part is the sampling. The third part is that we use some modeling techniques and we model that data according to that modeling technique. So that modeling technique depends on you, that which methodology you are using. Either you are going to depict it the complete data model, or you are going to the design space, or you are going to the model space, or whether you are going to plot the whole data available, or you are going to further sample data. So that modeling technique is basically a sample type of prototype, and you try to work on them before visualizing the actual data. You try to work on different models of graphs like bar graph, that line chart, like other graphs, and you try to work out and finding out the exact possible graph available for your visualization. And when this happen, you go for the binning, and binning is basically then going for the plotting of your data according to the given samples, and this will be the last phase of your visualization. So basically what we are doing actually in the actual scenario, it is very simple, that you have this kind of graph and you just divide it into different samples. So when you are go over the Google map, you can see that the Google map is just different layers combined together. And when we are talking about visualization of billion plus data in real time, we do it like similar way. You take out the data, you take out the samples, and you model that, and then you again make up that, bin that, and combine that again in form of one visualization. So basically binning, we can also say that it is combination of your visualization again into one form. So when you are working on your visualization, you have to work on filtering of data, you are modeling of the data, and you can then perceive, or you can make up any visualization according to the available data. So it is not that difficult to visualize your billion plus record. But when we are working on a system or when we are working on a software, we actually need a software that can execute the multiple records in real time. So when we are working on different data tiles, we have to send the data, not the pixels. So basically what we are seeing in the display is based on the data, and if we have a bigger picture, it means we have many pixels, but it doesn't mean we have data at the back end for that. If we have a smaller screen and we have a large amount of data, it doesn't mean that the pixels are less and we are not able to define the data. So basically if the data is more, then we require more space. If data is less, then we require less space. So when we are working on through any software, we are working on the data, and we have to embed the multiple dimensional data. Like if we have to work on the multiple columns, we have to define them, and we have to multiply them, then we have to combine them. Like there is an example over here, we are working on different graphs. We are working on different to display the graph by month, by day, and by hour. So basically when we are working on different levels, we have to collect data accordingly. Might be on the month level, you see the charts are different, and the data is not that much required, because we have to collect the data on the monthly basis. But when we go on the hourly basis, it means that we have to collect the data per minute basis to complete 1 hour. And similarly, like these hour will convert into day, and then day into months and year. So if we talk about the stock market, and if you have seen that on the stock market, the data is available in different hierarchies. Even we have the real time data up to 5 minutes or 1 minute available in the stock market, in the softwares in the trading software. What they are actually doing, they are basically parallelizing the different queries. So when you click the 1 minute data, and you click the 5 minute data, or 15 minute data, or 30 minute data in any trading session, they are basically parallelizing your queries on the system, and this is through different systems which have the powerful capacity to compute your queries. So basically if one user is sending those queries, it means that it is sending back into a form of different files, and different files are then combined into different texture. So it is like different data tiles combined together and rendering on different GPU via the web language or the interface available to you. So what you are seeing in the front end, it can be just a GUI or a website displaying you the data, but at the back end it is different. At the back end, it is a query that is sent to the data different blocks, and it combined to that blocks, and it then get you the off-screen values for that data. So basically the projection is true when the data is matched with the backend queries through your computation values. Similarly, like when the queries are matched, you have to get the canvas and you get the data available. So basically it is a process of querying and rendering your queries to display you in a feasible format or in a visualizable format. So when you are visualizing or working on different types of data, you are actually working on this phase, and you are working on different types of rendering queries and different types of fragments which are working and computing your queries. So we can visualize any amount of data using this cube methodology or the rendering methodology, and similarly like it works on every different system. So basically if we have 5 dimension and we have the 50 bins of data, and we have the 50 bins or the 50 dimension, and we have 25 plots, so basically we have to go on different 50 frame per second for visualizing the 1 billion amount of data points. So basically the frames will be fast, and then it can display the whole amount of data. So whether your data is less or more, we have to work on different amount of data which have to be queried through in 1 minute, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Similarly, like you are working on the table view software, so when you request it to make a bar graph, so if your data is less, it will make more earlier. If your data is more, then it will be slow. So basically you are working on different amount of data through different queries. So at the front end you will always see a GUI, but at the back end it is a complex methodology working on your different software and working on different queries and completing your requirements. So similarly, like this video was up to here, and the summary is that you can visualize any visualization, and all the visualization are interactive, and good visualizations are dependent on the task on the request which you have given. So you have to pick up the right interaction technique, and you have to work on the semantics of the data domain, like what methodology you will use, and you have to remember all the fundamental interaction techniques like selection, brushing, linking. So you know that how you can interact with the visualization and what the techniques are up to it. So if you like my video, go up to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe to it, and you can send any query for anything which taught to be Urdu and English. So this video was up to here, and if you want to earn the certificate through our training videos, so the process is as follows. And you can also get a training certification in data visualization, which I have already told in my classroom session. So what you are waiting for, go today to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe to it. Thank you.